Okay, I'm going to call to order the October 5th, 2020 Board of Aldermen regular meeting. Would everyone please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Kelly.
Hey, Alderwoman Ty.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Gould. Alderman Gould.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Jeff. I know you're here. Alderwoman O'Neill.
Here.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderman Weggie.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderwoman Ebling.
Here.
And I'm here if you can hear me now.
I can hear you now.
Great. We have a quorum. Next on the agenda is item 3, announcements, appointments, proclamations, and recognitions, which we have none. We have no public hearing tonight. Item 5 is the agenda approval. Do we have any changes or modifications to the agenda? Any objection to approving same by acclamation? Seeing none, it will be so approved. Next on the agenda is citizens' comments. Anybody in the public care to address the Board of Aldermen, now's the time to do so. You will be given up to 3 minutes.
No one's raising their hand at this point.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Next on the agenda is Mayor and Alderman reports. I have no report. Alderwoman Ebling.
Yes, I have a report. We here in Brentwood Forest started out our rollout of trash containers today, and I think the results were mixed. I think that most tried to comply with varying degrees of success, including myself. It's hard for older people to, especially those who live upstairs, to manage getting them down. And it's really hard to find a small one, especially one with a handle. And you almost need a handle to get down the steps. So I know this was not the city's idea, and it certainly wasn't Brentwood Forest's idea, but that's what we're stuck with. And Brentwood Forest did try to find a solution, but due to the topography around here, there's nothing that works for everybody. So residents were on their own, and I guess little by little, it'll get ironed out. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Gould.
Only report that I have is just a.
Oh, can't hear you.
Cut out right there after the only report I have.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, well, I've got some technical issues that are going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but we have a Ward 3 meeting that will be on the last Tuesday of this month, which is Tuesday the 27th. More to come on that.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Lockmiller.
No report.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
No report.
Alderman Plufka.
Yeah, Ward 1 will not have a ward meeting on October 13th. We will have one on November 10th. We expect to have updates to provide the ward with regard to Brentwood Bound, the lighting program, as well as some traffic calming measures in Ward 1.
Thank you. Alderwoman Sims.
The Ways and Means meeting that was to occur last week's been reset to October 22nd at 5:40. We are talking about the budget. Come one, come all. See you there.
You there? Be square. Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Tice.
No report.
And Alderman Weggie, I think you have something.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Public Works on Thursday, October 8th is canceled for lack of things to talk about. So we'll be canceling that. And then one item I wanted to bring up in my report is something that we passed out of Public Works. And it's actually an agenda item. It's Bill 6303 for establishing of a sustainability committee. I was going to talk about it in my report, but since it is in new business, I'll just go ahead and wait until then.
Okay. Next on the agenda is City Administrator Report. We have one item, and that's a Brentwood Bound update. I think, Craig, you're going to handle that?
Sure. Good evening. Craig Schlitter with Navigate Building Solutions. First, with new business, we had talked about a groundbreaking on October 7th. Due to St. Louis County restricting that event, we're going to postpone that. We don't have a new date, but we will get back to everybody once a new date has been established, but it'll be hopefully November, December. But again, there will be no groundbreaking October 7th at noon. We will get back to you all with further instruction. Next, we, with the flood mitigation project, I presented earlier about executive walk. We are going to be taking executive walks into Brazu like we've talked about before. That work started today, so that's really exciting. That's a first step with Mary Avenue slowly going away. So we'll be working on the executive walk tying over the next couple weeks, and we will be reporting on updates as that goes on. Diving into the typical Brentwood Bound update, first with construction costs, total spend since the last Board of Aldermen meeting is $62,273.70. That's on the demolition package. Number two, that package, we're gonna be doing a punch list on this week, which will mean that that project will be completed in the next couple of weeks as we complete that punch list, which is really exciting because we originally targeted that project to be done in November. And so we're a couple months ahead of schedule, and we will be below budget on that project. Next is soft costs. Total spend since the last Board of Aldermen meeting is $105,068.50. That money was spent on legal fees, project management fees, bid advertisement, and marketing expenses. Next is property acquisitions. Since the last Board of Aldermen meeting, $10,201.75 was spent on reestablishment and closing costs. And at the bottom is a list of categories of funding and additional funding sources. There were no updates since the last Board of Aldermen meeting. Any questions?
No questions for Craig? Well, thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is going to be, we have no new business, and I just lost my page. Bear with me a second here. We have three items under new business. The first is bill number 6301.
Your Honor, I think we have the consent agenda first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. See, that's why I should have waited for my page to load. I was trying to do it by memory. All right. Item 9, the consent agenda. We have 6 items under the consent agenda. Anybody have any questions about any of those items? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Alderwoman Sims, seconded by Alderman Plufka. Do we have any discussion? Okay, Kelly, when you get a chance, can we get a roll call?
Sure. Alderwoman Tice,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Gould,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderman Weggie,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller,
Yes.
Alderwoman Ebling.
Yes.
Great.
Motion approves by a count of 8-0, according to my count. Alderwoman Tice, I want to thank you for telling me about the space bar. This is terrific. Next item is
Once
the old
again,
business.
David, once again.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Sonny, that's right. I apologize. We have no items under the old business. We have 3 items under new business. And please, let's move on to that. The first item is Bill number 6301. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a first read of Bill 6301 by title only, please?
Bill number 6301, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, approving a certain real estate sale contract with H.E. Williams Incorporated for the purchase of certain property at 2801 Breckenridge Industrial Court, authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith, providing for the effective date of this ordinance, and containing a severability clause.
Thank you. Mark, are you taking this?
I believe so. Good evening. This is the bill tonight to approve the sale contract with H.E. Williams, Inc. This is the final acquisition we need in Webster Groves. Property is located at the southwest corner of Deer Creek and Breckenridge Industrial Court. The sale price is $575,000. We found out after we initially reached out to them saying that price would be acceptable, that they no longer required even a lease back. So that's why there's no lease reference in this.
Any questions for Mark on Bill 6301?
No.
Okay, we are trying to do a first and second read on this tonight. And so with that, can we get a motion for a second read of 6301?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, we got a motion by Alderman Lockmuller, seconded by Alderwoman Ebeling. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, count of 8-0. So with that, Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill 6301 by title only, please?
Bill number 6301, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, approving a certain real estate sale contract with H.E. Williams Incorporated for the purchase of a certain property at 2801 Breckenridge Industrial Court, authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith, providing for the effective date of this ordinance, and containing a severability clause.
Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill 6301 into ordinance form.
so moved.
Second.
All right, we had a motion by Alderwoman O'Neill, seconded by Alderman Lockmuller. Any discussion or any other questions or discussions? Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Tice,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Gould,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes,
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderman Waggy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller,
Yes.
Alderwoman Ebeling.
yes,
Okay. By a majority vote of 8-0, the board has voted in favor of passing bill number 6301, and it'll become ordinance 4939 when and if signed by the mayor.
Great, thank you, everybody. Next on the agenda is Bill number 6297. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a first reading of 6297 by title only, please?
Yes, sir. Before I do that, Kelly, may I ask, this is identified as Bill 6297, but I note the one before is 6301 and the one after it is 6303. Is this still 6297?
This is still 6297.
Okay.
We've kept track of all of them, and they were out of order previously from the previous meeting, and we're back on track.
Okay. Bill number 6297, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, approving a certain real estate sale contract with Suburban Tracts Associates LLC for the purchase of certain property at 8734 Suburban Tracts Street, approving a lease to Brentwood Plastics, Inc., authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith, providing for the effective date of this ordinance, and containing a severability clause.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you. This is a bill to approve the sale contract with the entity that owns the Brentwood Plastics property. As the title suggests, it involves a lease back to the seller in Brentwood Plastics, Inc., its affiliated entity. The purchase price is, the total all-in compensation is $4,075,141. That is split between the owner entity. They're going to get $2 million as a purchase price, $2 million, and the Brentwood Plastics Inc. will get $2,075,141 as relocation. That involves a lease back to them. Under the lease back, they can stay through March 31st. They requested that they be allowed to stay beyond, we originally thought it was going to be February 28th. We worked this out, and it should be fine with our schedule because we'll be able to do any kind of necessary testing for asbestos and lead to get the bid out on time. So it shouldn't affect our plans at all for demolition.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mark? Alderman Lockmuller.
Hey, Mark, have they found a new location on their own, or did we assist?
I'll go with a little column A and a little column B. They might have seen this property in the past, but they did settle on one that our relocation consultant also found. It's a North St. Louis. I believe they had looked at that initially, but then it was not available. But when our consultant pointed out to him again, it had become available. So they are, I think, ready to go and anxious to move.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for Mark? Can we get a motion for a second read then of Bill 6297?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Great, thank you. We got a motion by Alderwoman Ty, seconded by Alderman Lockmuller for second read of Bill 6297. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 8-0. With that, Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill 6297 by title only, please?
Bill number 6297, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, approving a certain real estate sale contract with Suburban Tracks Associates, LLC, for the purchase of a certain property at 8734 Suburban Tracks Street, approving a lease to Brentwood Plastics Incorporated, authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith, providing for the effective date of this ordinance, and containing a severability clause.
Can we get a motion to perfect Bill 6297 into ordinance form?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Eveling, seconded by Alderwoman Sims. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Kelly.
Alderwoman Tice,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims,
Yes.
Alderman Gould,
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Yes.
Alderman Plufka,
Yes.
Alderman Waggy,
Yes.
Alderman Lockmuller,
Yes.
Alderwoman Eveling.
Yes.
By a majority vote of 8-0, the board has voted in favor of passing bill number 6297. It'll become ordinance number 4940 when and if signed by the mayor.
Great, thank you. Last thing under new business is bill number 6303. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a reading of bill 6303 by title only, please?
Bill number 6303, first reading and ordinance to establish a sustainability commission for the City of Brentwood.
Thank you. Brandon, we're going to turn the floor over to you now.
Yeah, great, thanks. So this is an ordinance establishing a sustainability advisory committee. This is something we've talked about in Public Works. I'm sure, as everybody knows, I've been kind of on a sustainability kick for the last year and a half. And I think we've made a lot of progress, and there's really been some wonderful things that we're doing. I think we're ready to step it up and start having citizen-led committee that is providing input and helping us make decisions about what we should be doing for sustainability in the future. So what this ordinance basically does, well, first of all, we also looked around, and I think staff for this looked around at all the towns around us. Most of the towns surrounding us have some form of sustainability. In board docs, it summarizes how each town does it. What is proposed in this ordinance basically is that we would establish this committee. It would have 5 citizens on it and 2 aldermen that are appointed to it. We would use the Public Works as kind of the receptor for this committee, if you will, as they're coming up with ideas and prioritization. I personally think it would be a very good thing to do. Remember we had issues with recycling and the national sword issues with, trash and everything. I think having a group of citizens that can help us, understand these issues and what the impact on our community is just going to be a very good thing. So I'm excited about this. And I know we're hoping to do a first and a second reading on it tonight. And really big thanks to Bola and everybody for putting this together so quickly.
Lisa and her team.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa.
Great. Do we have any questions? Alderman Lockwood.
I've got a question for Mr. O'Keefe. Kevin, I'm looking at the first page of the bill under membership, and it says the members will be appointed by the Board of Aldermen. Should that be appointed by the mayor with consent and approval of the Board of Aldermen?
That would be my recommendation, sir, yes.
Well, then I guess, as a correction, I guess I'll offer an amendment to where it says appointed by the Board of Aldermen, remove Board of Aldermen and put the mayor, let's see, appointed by the mayor with the consent of and approval of the majority of the Board of Aldermen.
If I may suggest it, consent and approval are redundant. If it's with the consent of the Board of Aldermen would be sufficient.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to amend Bill 6303 as indicated made by Alderman Lockfielder and seconded by Alderman Wegge. Do we have any discussion on that? Yes, Alderman Pluck.
Just to be clear, we're talking about amending with the words that our city attorney just recommended, section 120.180.b. Would that be right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alderwoman O'Neill.
I'm a little confused. Isn't that already in the last paragraph of Part B, membership?
That's where I'm amending it.
But it already says will be appointed by the mayor with the consent of the Board of Aldermen.
If I may, that last paragraph is the two aldermen that would represent on the board. One would be in Public Works and one would not be.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion to amend? Mr. City Attorney, can we just do this by a voice vote or do we have to do, okay. All in favor of the motion to amend, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries by a count of 8-0. I'm sorry, Kevin?
If I may, Alderman Wegge, you indicated in your description of the bill that the commission would consist of 5 members. The bill as drafted says 7 members.
So 5 citizens and 2 aldermen.
But, okay, well, this is written with 7 members and 2 aldermen.
Oh,
I read it as 7 total, so 5 normal people and then 2 aldermen.
The first paragraph of B is real people, and it says consists of 7 members who be appointed by the mayor with the consent of the board. And then the third paragraph, a member of the Public Works Committee who is not shall be appointed by the mayor, appointed by the committee and the others. So they would be additional members. If you want to make it 5 members and the 2 aldermanic reps, I think we should change 7 to 5.
Yeah, then I would make that motion. And the reason we arrived at 5 out of Public Works is, everybody's kind of spread thin in this town. So I didn't want to get in a situation where we're having a hard time filling this. So I would make the motion to change the membership to be 5 members plus 2 aldermen.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to amend by Alderman Wegge, seconded by Alderman Plufka to change, I guess it's section 120.180, the subparagraph B, from 7 to 5 members and of lay people, if you will, and then 2 aldermen. Do we have any further discussion on that? Okay, roll call. Or, I'm sorry, all in favor of that amendment, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries by the count of 8-0. So with that, anything else?
I would make a motion to have a second reading of Bill 630.
Hold on, we got a timeout by our city attorney.
We're going to have to adjust the staggered terms to go down from 7 staggered terms to 5. So I would go, what, 3, 1, and 1, or 2, 2, and 1? 2, 2, and 1, probably. 2 for 3, 2 for 2, and 1 for 1, or I'm sorry, 2 for 1, 2 for 2, and 2 for 3.
And one for all. Yes, I would make that motion.
Second.
And
Okay, we got a motion, but another motion by Alderman Weggie to amend, seconded by, I'm going to go with Alderwoman Tice. Hey, kind of cut me some slack here when we're not in person. This is really difficult to do.
does anyone want to read the bill one more time to make sure that we got it?
Thank you, Alderwoman Tice.
The
No problem,
The other
Mr. Mayor.
The other option is to split it and just do a second reading at the next meeting. But if we want to go ahead and try to do a first and second tonight, let's just keep plugging away and making these changes. So we've got a motion to amend by Alderman Weggie relating to the terms. Any discussion on that? Okay, roll call, please. Or I'm sorry, again. Can we all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Mr. City Attorney, do you think it's good form now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So with that, can we get a, see, we did a first read, I think about 40 minutes ago. Can we want to do a second read, so can we get a motion for a second read of Bill?
So moved. Bill 6303.
6303 as amended, as amended, as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Weggie, seconded by Alderwoman Sims. That was my joke. All in favor of the second read, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Okay, with that, Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill 6303 as amended by title only?
Bill number 6303, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance to establish a sustainability commission for the city of Brentwood.
Motion to
Alderman
perfect
Weggie,
Bill 6303 in the ordinance form.
Second.
okay, we got a motion to perfect by Alderman Weggie, seconded by Alderwoman Tice. Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Kelly.
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Yes.
Alderman Plufka.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderwoman Eveling.
Yes.
By a majority vote of 8-0, the board has voted in favor of passing bill number 6303. It'll become ordinance number 4941 when and if signed by the mayor.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, Alderman Weggie. Thanks for taking the charge on this. And with that, I'm going to charge you with finding 5 citizens to serve on this. And if any of the aldermen want to sit on this, just let the mayor know. And we will see what we can do about getting that committee filled as fast as possible. Next on the agenda is citizens' comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board of aldermen? Again, now is the time to do so. You'll be given up to 3 minutes.
No one is raising their hand at the moment.
All right, thank you.
No hands up.
Next on the agenda, we do need to go into closed session for 3 items. Real estate, legal, and personnel, specifically revised statutes, Missouri, section 610.021, subsections 1, 2, and 3. Can we get a motion to do so? Alderman Plufka.
I would make that motion, Your Honor, to adjourn to executive session pursuant to the topics of real estate, legal, and personnel concerning revised Missouri statutes, chapter 610.021, subsections 1, 2, and 3, and to adjourn the general meeting therefrom.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Plufka to go to a closed session, seconded by Alderwoman Sims. Any discussion on that? Okay, Kelly, when you get a chance, can we get a roll call, please?
Alderwoman Tice.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims.
Yes.
Alderman Gould.
Yes.
Alderman O'Neill.
Yes.
Alderman Plufka.
Yes.
Alderman Weggie.
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Yes.
Alderwoman Ebeling.
Yes.
Okay. By a vote of 8-0, motion carries to go to executive session.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Kelly did send out another invitation for the closed session just a little before 7 o'clock, so it should be easy to find if you check your emails. If you don't have it, reach out to us and we'll get that to you. Why don't we just try and log off here, then log right back in and see if we get this thing done. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.